On this episode of Sanity Lounge, we're thrilled to welcome rising country artist Talbot Mayo, a gifted singer-songwriter from Monkton, Maryland. Rooted in bluegrass and honky-tonk tradition, Talbot grew up playing music with her family and has since carved out a powerful voice of her own, earning comparisons to legends like Dolly Parton and Loretta Lynn. She recently dropped her solo EP, Big Shot, recorded in Nashville with some of the industry's best. And lucky for us, she also treated us to a live performance, so don't miss it. Okay, welcome Baltimore. We finally have the wonderful Talbot Mayo in the studio. This is the third try.
Right.
Because of asshole situations where Brian's working.
Objection.
And I had...
It was God.
I spoke to her throughout, but I actually had COVID. My wife is she is convinced I had COVID because I had no flu symptoms. I just couldn't get out of bed and I was miserable.
I had the flu.
It was horrible. Everybody has everything.
The flu's been going around.
But again, Talbot Mayo, superstar. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, I'm so glad to be here. This is going to be really fun.
Yes, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's been like 3 weeks, and so snow has been happening in Baltimore this year in particular, and for whatever reason, it kept happening when we were trying to get Talbot in
Winter
here.
hates us.
Yeah, but that's good stuff. I'm glad to finally meet you.
Yeah, me too.
The songs were beautiful that you just played. And the album, Big Shot, I love. I mean, it's, I'm mild country. Like, I'm down with Hank and Johnny Cash and even the Judds, Winona Judd,
Sure.
But once it got past like 2000, I don't know.
Same.
Yeah.
You follow several genres, though. Would you consider yourself country or bluegrass or all of the above?
So I grew up playing bluegrass music, and I still play bluegrass. I'm primarily a fiddle player.
You're primarily a fiddle player. Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if I realized that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So I started playing bluegrass when I was 6. Well, I started playing the fiddle in bluegrass when I was 6.
Well,
okay,
you started playing the jug.
I started on the
earlier.
jug.
That's my favorite thing. It reminds me of the Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah. Oh, Disney, the Country Bear Jamboree.
I started on jug at 4 and washboard.
And right, you recently posted a picture of
did.
that. You were 4 in that picture, and you were chilling with your washboard. It was awesome. I love it. It's my favorite.
So
thing.
this is a quick question, and what decade are we talking about? When you learned to play the jug?
It was the mid to late 90s.
Okay.
You could have just said the 1900s, and that would have still been a little vague.
Right. Okay. So continue. So the jug and the washboard were your first, and you have a musical family. I
do.
read.
Yep. So I grew up in the family band. And the original Mayo family band was my dad on mandolin, my uncle George on guitar, my older brother on fiddle, my mom would play bass, and my Aunt Janie would play fiddle as well. And I was on the jug or the washboard. And then at 6, I started playing fiddle. And I grew up playing bluegrass music.
And whereabouts are we here?
So this is northern Baltimore County.
Nice.
Yeah, so I grew up I'm a Hereford graduate. So,
Fun.
We're not too far away. We're Carroll County boys.
Right.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Similar life experience.
Right. Yeah. That's good stuff. So it was in your blood and DNA from the get-go.
Yeah, I think so.
And are they like professional players? Like you guys played out and stuff, or it was just as like a family you'd get together on a Friday night and rock the
Well, we did that. So we would, pretty much every Friday, sometimes Saturday too, all get together and just play music. And some of my earliest memories are just being put to bed, forced to go to bed, and
oh wow, that's awesome.
And hearing my dad and my uncle sing downstairs, and so we did that a lot. But then we'd pick up little things here and there. We'd play little competitions and things for fun. And then I started playing as a teenager. Semi-professionally in a band with other teenagers. My brother was in that band. Patrick McAvenue was in that band. I don't know if you know him. He's a fantastic fiddle player. He was IBMA Fiddle Player of the Year in like 2017 or something. Another Hereford grad.
Wow.
And some other teenagers. We were in this band, and there were different configurations of it. We played all over. We played in Virginia. We played all over, a lot in Pennsylvania, which I got a lot of stories about that. Maryland, and we'd play a lot. And then that band broke up simultaneous to a marriage, which may or may not have involved me.
All right, let's hover there for a second. No.
And so I ended up marrying one of the band members as a teenager. Didn't work out. Big shock.
Wow.
And so I got some songs about that.
Right. So life lessons and songs. Right.
Right. And then at that point, the Mayo family band kind of resurfaced. So this would have been 2013. Mm-hmm. And so now the Mayo family band is myself on fiddle and vocals, my dad on bass and vocals, my Uncle George on guitar and vocals. And then we have two other guys who are like adopted uncles to me on mandolin, Mike Columbus on mandolin and George Locke on banjo. Mm-hmm. So we've been doing that since 2013, playing around.
That's
all
nice.
over.
Yeah, so when you're billed as Talbot Mayo and the Mayo family band, that's the lineup.
Yeah.
Now, current lineup, I should say.
Yeah, so if it's the Mayo family band, then it's going to be the bluegrass show. Right. My music is definitely more country. I write more country tunes, more Americana. And I love country. I love old country music.
Right.
Ever since I was a kid, I just was obsessed with it. So that's...
Yeah, we drank a lot of whiskey to Hank Williams.
The truth of the matter is, Talbot, is we were piss drunk in the 90s doing nothing but listening to Hank Williams Jr., Charlie Daniels Band, Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
And
it had some Green Day in there.
Yeah, like other things.
That's so funny.
Brandy.
Yeah, right now Paul is yelling at the...
we listen to this. Dreamweaver. We have the Dreamweaver.
Right.
But it's not about us, Talbot. It's about you. Let me ask you this. So in the rock, in the younger years, you're rocking with the family band. Mm-hmm. Did you realize you were a songwriter at that moment? Or how did that develop?
So I was playing in the bluegrass band with all the teenagers. It was called Green Branch. And Patrick had gone on the road with Audie Blaylock and Red Line. And so my brother kind of took over as the full-time fiddle player, and they wanted me to sing. But it was sort of one of those things like, you got to learn how to play guitar, which I barely did and still haven't. And
it's so funny. It's the artist.
Everybody, you're your own worst critic. I say it all the time. Right. You're like, I can't play.
Everybody comes in and plays great, and then they're like, I really can't play. And you're like,
he does the same thing. He's a drummer, and I'll be at his shows, and he'll be like, man, I suck.
It's different with me.
Right.
Right.
It's different with me.
So I got my first guitar, which is that guitar out there that I played, and I was maybe 14 or 15. And I would be up in my room just figuring out chords. And then I just started writing songs. So I started writing in, 14, 15 years old, writing my first songs.
Nice.
And then I honestly, to be honest, I didn't consider myself a songwriter until fairly recently. So in 2019, I got sort of hooked up with Susie West, we founded the Monkton Road Band together. Mm-hmm. And Susie's been like one of my biggest advocates. She's amazing, and she's an amazing songwriter. I mean, she's prolific. She writes constantly, and she had moved back to Baltimore from California, and she said, "Let's get together." And I said, "Well, I'm really busy. I've got a lot going on." And she said, "Well, let me just come over to your house and I'll listen to your songs." And so I played her. I had a handful of songs at that point. And I played them for her, and she said, "Well, we're going to be in a band together." And I said, No, we're not. I'm really busy. And she said, "Okay, what should our band be called?" And it was
you said, "Okay."
So eventually, and we had a great time as the Monkton Road Band. And at that point, I started writing a ton. And it really wasn't until Susie was really pushing me and saying, "You got to play your songs."
Right.
And so I started playing them and started writing constantly. And then so that was 2019. So I really didn't realize I was a songwriter until 6 years ago.
So do you, even now, do you tend to write the lyrics first and then the music, or is it all over the place? Or you usually write the music first and then put lyrics to it?
I'm a little bit all over the place. I would say if I had to choose, I probably pick lyrics first. I did in the songs I did tonight, a combination of that. I did like "Oh My Dear." I just was sort of working on a melody, and I'll just sit down with my guitar, and I just sort of worked out the chorus and was humming it. And then I just didn't put words to it. I just left it as sort of that haunting sound. And but other ones, usually I would say it's the lyric comes first, and then I'll just sort of build off of that.
Right. Mm-hmm. So also, when you were younger, did you have like when you were going to school and stuff? Did you feel the pull of other musical influences? Like, did it ever occur to you? Like, did you ever come home and was like, did you ever have like a heavy metal phase where like the old man was like, Talbot, this is not the Mayo family band, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's okay to say no because some people are grounded in their roots and that's fine. I'm just curious if you ever like came home and was like, I'm going to do rap, Dad, or you know what I mean? Like,
I definitely,
or just the electric guitar.
Right. My brother sort of ventured into electric guitar, and my parents are very encouraging of all music. Yep. I never. Of course, when I was like really little, I was like, I love the Spice Girls. And there's this.
Right. That's what I mean. It's like all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to be in a girl band.
Right.
Or,
it didn't last long. Once I discovered like Kitty Wells and Loretta Lynn and all of those gals, I was like, oh, you guys, like, whatever. But my brother will famously tell you there was a time where I told him, I will never not like the Spice Girls. We were in a fight. And he said, I will never not like the Spice Girls. So, we still laugh about that. But.
That's a serious gauntlet to lay.
Yeah, even now, I'm a massive Dua Lipa fan. That's
right. Look, I don't object to that.
You wouldn't look at me and think it, but
one of the greatest Saturday Night Live performances of all times is Dua Lipa levitating. Look it up.
I know, I've seen it.
It's incredible. All right, but it's not about Dua Lipa. It's about Talbot.
So
for keeping it on track.
Once I kind of found, and I was little. The first time I heard Kitty Wells sing, it was on a CD that we bought at Cracker Barrel.
That's funny.
And it wasn't God who made honky tonk angels. And I was like 5, and my grandmother said to me, I was listening to it over and over, and she said, that's hillbilly music. And I said, well, I think I might be a hillbilly then.
Right.
But I really didn't stray from country and bluegrass music much. My brother was, he's older, so he was a big influence. He brought home, like the Nimrod album from Green Day. Right. We loved that. But I really was just like obsessed with country music and old country music. And then when I got to college, I sort of ventured out a little bit more. And that's kind of when I discovered, like, one of my favorite bands is Radiohead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
And just, like, was obsessed with that for a while. And I like 90s grunge stuff, but...
we have inside information that Radiohead might be doing the Sphere.
It'd be a hell of a ticket. Mm-hmm. It's just so expensive.
I've seen them.
It's not.
Nice.
And we saw them in Pittsburgh, and like it is worth it. Mm-hmm. They're insane.
Yeah. Who's the guitar player?
Johnny Greenwood.
Those soundtracks he writes. Like he did some soundtracks. I think like There Will Be Blood or a couple PTA movies. He did the soundtrack for, and it's incredible.
I'm not surprised because he's a genius.
And it was genius stuff. I mean, if you watch There Will Be Blood, I'm pretty sure he's the soundtrack of that whole movie. Won an Oscar for.
I didn't know that.
But they're a really they're not an underrated band. Everybody loves them, but they're a great band.
They're just a killer band.
I think they shouldn't be, but they're like a love them or hate them band.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So influences that's that. I was just curious about that because growing up in a musical family like that, you probably feel, but as you said, they were very supportive and open, and that I guess is the difference maker. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people wouldn't even get the outward exposure, and then when they do, they're kind of dissuade from it. They're like, well,
Right.
But that's good stuff. That's good parenting.
Yeah, we were, great parents. Yeah. They've always been very supportive of me. They still pay for my cell phone,
Nice. That's good parenting. Right.
Did we touch on this? When did you discover your voice?
I was really, really shy when I was a kid about singing. Not about other things, but about singing. I don't know why. I didn't want to. But my dad has a really high tenor voice. He has that sort of Bill Monroe high tenor. So we compete for parts a lot. And so I had to sort of learn how to sing either over him or under him and pick out a harmony. But I was really shy. I used to like sing with like my blanket over my head. And
That's funny.
And in the shower, where of course no one can hear you.
Sure.
And then when I was maybe 12, Amy Hopkins was my fiddle teacher, and she taught a whole bunch of local fiddle players in the area, and she was just so encouraging. And she said we didn't just play fiddle. She would say let's write a little fiddle tune this week, or she'd say let's sing a song. And I was so shy, and she just kind of forced me on stage one day, and I was like 12, and that was the first time I really sang out publicly. I had played, but I never really sang.
Right.
And then after that, it was a breeze. I was like, well, I want to keep doing this.
Right.
And so I would say it was about then, but it's always changing. The song changes, the mood changes, and but yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and also you can sing in the shower and you sound great. But then when you get on a mic and you're in front of all those people and you sing, it's really a different ball game.
It's totally different.
Yeah, you really have to be confident. You've got to, commit.
Right.
And
there's no walking back.
Right. And so it's that's a good age, though, and it's good that you had a mentor that kind of nudged you in the right direction in that sense.
Yeah, and I've always had mentors who have really pushed me. I think one of the important things about being successful in anything is having people around you who are willing to, and I mean, what you guys are doing, investing in musicians and investing in people whose art you care about. And so even if it was, if it was Amy, if it was my parents, if it was my bandmates throughout the years, Susie, professors in college, I've always had people who sort of just said, no, we believe in you. And then it's like, okay, and you go out there and you do it. It's really important.
It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, even going back to the voice, did you have any type of training?
No, I have no vocal training.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's in your bones like everything else, because you said the old man has a strong voice.
Yeah.
And well, that's good. And your uncle, I assume, has. You guys are like the. You're like the
Country
Eagles.
Bear Jamboree.
Right, you're like the Eagles of the Country Bear Jamboree.
Right,
like.
Just a hybrid of those things. You got it,
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but what about like upbringing with religious? Like were you guys rocking religious tunes and stuff? Did you bond that way, or it wasn't really that vibe, or?
No, we weren't so my family's a real mix of different Christian religions. My mom is like half Catholic, half Methodist.
Nice.
My dad's like half Catholic, half Episcopalian.
Right.
They went sometimes to Catholic stuff, sometimes to other stuff. But I mean, my family is definitely religious. They're kind of like we're Americans, so by God, like that's where they come.
Right.
And I've had my, but I went through we all go through phases, and I went through a real weird one. But
you don't want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, there was a time.
Well, like the show, like we are chasers of spiritualism in a certain sense, with drums, rhythm, and history and stuff like that. So I don't ask to put you on the spot. I just ask because I know there is a real connection between music and spiritualism and stuff like that, and especially in a bluegrass upbringing, like there's a lot of times where you start going gospel type,
right? Absolutely, and we do a lot of gospel tunes even today, and so I would actually say that some of my earliest exposure to religion and to church was through music, but we didn't go to church regularly. We weren't like real super religious.
Sure, you weren't like officially like we have to.
Right, we were really. I mean, it's kind of my dad jokes about starting his own church. His name's Bill. He wants to call it Bill's Church of God, and he just wants to like drink whiskey and sing gospel tunes. And
Bill, it sounds like wonder. I mean, I don't understand what's wrong there. I mean,
so we're like
Go
your
every Sunday.
typical like hillbillies who. We believe in something, but
Sure.
we're not really sure what it is.
Sure. Right.
that's cool.
I love that. I love that life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
yeah, we'll go to that church. I guarantee it.
It's
if there's
non-rest-
whiskey.
yeah, it's welcoming, it's non-restrictive. and
Conversation
it's-
too. Yeah. I mean,
Right,
talk.
right.
It's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, religion was. I mean, it wasn't a huge aspect of it, but
Yeah, right.
But definitely, I always felt moved by especially bluegrass and Appalachian gospel tunes, and I've written one or two, and
Nice.
and I'm definitely like a spiritual person, but
Right. You're kind of like, you're just kind of, you're not pushy about it. You
No.
just, you have your beliefs, and that's good.
yeah, and everybody else does too, and it's
Sure.
fine with me.
So let's we'll go through the songs a little bit that you
Okay.
played. So the first song you played is called Miles.
It's called Miles.
So tell us a little bit about.
So Miles is personally one of my favorites
Yep.
that I've written, and I wrote it. So I still live on the family farm. My parents live in a house, and we have a couple of neighbors who live in houses that the farm owns. Farm's been in the family since 1762.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
that's
cool.
good history.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. So and so my husband and I live in another one of the houses, and so it's very there aren't a lot of times we are the only one on the farm.
Right.
So it happens infrequently, and when it happens, I love it. It's like
I bet.
So one day, and I just do this if I have time or if I'm feeling inspired, I'll just pick up my guitar, and I was out on the front porch with my dog, and great view from the porch, and I just sat down with a beer, and I just started picking out a song, and I said, I'm the only one for Miles. I'm going to do a song I wrote called Miles. I'm the only one for Miles, and I'm 1,000 miles from you. And the days go by without changing, not another season in view. So I'll keep on walking this lonely highway till there's nothing left to lose. Maybe then I'll see you across the horizon with the sunrise and a gray sky turn to blue. When you told me you were leaving, well, I never thought it could be true. So I let you go with questions, 'cause there's nothing I could ever do. Now my feet are wandering and my hands are shaking, and I don't know what to do. 'Cause your memory lingers like the grip of winter, and it's all because of you. And that's kicked off the song. So, and I don't always know what a song's going to be about when I started. It just kind of evolved into what it was. And I was fortunate that we recorded that song with the Monkton Road Band. And I'm really, really glad that we did. It's got some great players on it. Ron Block of Alison Krause's band is on that.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And he's just the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet.
Well, let me ask you this. What is when you... Well, maybe we'll get to that. If I was going to ask about the album...
Do you... Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Do you guys have... I mean, this farm is many acres, I'm assuming. Do you ever have, like, concerts there?
Yeah, we do.
Do you?
Yeah, we'll do private, just private invitation
So no
only.
festival?
No, we couldn't. We're in preservation, so
well, hopefully we can get on the list.
But, yeah, absolutely.
That's going to be awesome.
We haven't done one in a while, but we have like an old trailer that we set up as a stage, and we'll just
that's fun.
Bring your chairs and your cooler, and we just play music.
Yeah, it's like you have to. I mean, it's a family of musicians, and they all live together. Like,
it's like Woodstock.
I just want to wander up the road, and you'll just hear music on. You'll be like, I'm going to go over there.
We do have neighbors who will like they know like when we're practicing, and they'll go out and sit on their porch because we'll play outside sometimes, and then they'll listen. And
nice.
Yeah.
They'll be like, the Mayos are outside.
Right.
Yeah, that's wild.
And then next, it's called Burn My Dinner, but you said on the album you dropped the My Dinner. And
it's just called Burned.
So what's the story behind Burn My Dinner?
So Burned, it's a true story. I literally was writing a song called Highway, and I was cooking Brussels sprouts.
Love Brussels sprouts.
Me too. They're delicious.
Everybody,
I've always loved them.
They got a bum rap. I love it.
If we're talking about Brussels sprouts, the best Brussels sprouts you will ever have in your entire life is Wicked Sisters in Hamden. They're like these candied Brussels sprouts. Oof. And I ran into a dude at Ram's Head live for I don't remember what show it was, but he worked there and had been fired. And I was like, dude, give me the Brussels sprout recipe. And he said no.
Wow.
He said no?
And he was fired.
I mean, what a dick!
Dude, he was like, "No, I'm not giving it up." Like, no, like
that's just upsetting because I want to know.
They must sign an NDA. Yeah, they're to die for.
Oh,
so
what are we doing here?
I don't know. I'll bring them next time. Next time I see you, I'll have some candied Brussels sprouts.
All right, so sprouts.
So I was cooking. I was cooking Brussels sprouts. And I was in the kitchen and I had my guitar and I was writing Highway and I totally forgot that I was making dinner. Like just we're gonna do a song I wrote while I was writing another song, and I was also trying to cook dinner, and I burned dinner, but I got 2 songs done that night, and this was one of them. It's called I Burned Your Dinner, or Burned if you look on the record. Pondering on some things you probably think I shouldn't ponder. And every day that comes along, that feeling in my head, it just gets stronger. And I heard it on the radio, us girls don't have to serve you any longer. If Dolly and Loretta did it, you watch now, 'cause I can do it too. No, I burned your dinner, 'cause I was busy writing a song about how much I hate cooking and cleaning. Put this lipstick on, I burned your dinner. And now you'll probably starve to death. And when you do, well, maybe I'll finally get some rest. Your expectation that I'll always be your loving wife, act like your mother. That every time you break my heart, I'll be there, 'cause I love you like no other. Your misconception that you charts. Though I burned your dinner, 'cause I was busy writing a song about how much I hate cooking and cleaning. But this lipstick on, I burned your dinner. And now you'll probably starve to death. And when you do, well, maybe I'll finally get some rest. Yeah, when you do, well, maybe I'll finally get some rest. I was in the zone, and that happens. I just sort of get in a zone, and it's like, don't talk to me, don't interrupt me. I'm in my zone, and then it just started smoking, and they were burnt to a crisp.
And then
I wrote burned. I was like, ah! Turned the stove off.
You
and
said, this is genius.
yeah, and I was like, got another song, and so I wrote burned, and you know, that's how the song came to be, but obviously it's about a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Right.
It definitely is you know, I've lived the life of a you know, these are the expectations of a woman, and not from my family, but
Sure.
and it sucks.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
hated every minute of it. So yeah,
You can hear the old country influence in your writing and your delivery
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to explain it other than you can feel your roots in old country. It's good
thanks.
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, definitely.
You talked about, before we came in here, you were talking about the most distracted you've ever been. I don't know if the next song's called, the next song was Bar.
Oh,
So I don't know if they correlate or have to do with each other.
The next one was Flypaper.
Flypaper?
I think. Yeah. So
Is that what the song was called? Flypaper?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So when when you're playing live shows, if you can see the audience, and a lot of times, especially in the bluegrass band, you can, because there aren't the lights and the
Right.
all the stuff. But if you can see the audience, I mean, it's distracting.
Yes.
It is distracting, and so you see stuff that happens, and you're like, and then you just start to kind of
Get in your head.
I don't get in my head, but I know, like, all right, we're going to talk about this in the truck later. And because in the Mayo family, we all ride together in the truck.
Right.
And so it's like you got to, like, store your material because we're going to talk about it on the way home.
Right.
And, you know, so that's one. So you kind of learn you got to, like, tune it out. I'm going to do a song that I wrote one night. I was playing a late night set in a bar, and we were setting up, and we were doing a sound check, and there was a girl, and she'd had quite a few to drink by that time, and the drummer was just checking the kick drum, and it was just kick, 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 and she started dancing all over the place, and so I went home. I wrote this song about her. It's about a barfly dancing to the sound check when they hit that old kick drum, and so it's called Flypaper, also called Yesterday's Makeup. But I like to call it Flypaper. Another night in a smoke-filled bar with the music loud and some guy's credit card. Young barfly t-shirt all tied up and she's never seen. He doesn't care at all, 'cause he spotted her from across the room, and he says to his friends, you know, I think she'll do. Yesterday's makeup, this morning's shame. She ain't real sure of his given name, and the sun came up several hours ago. Where he's been, everybody knows. She told her mama she'd never go again, but her heart got all tied up in flypaper like him. She'll be there when the band sets up, and she'll be dancing to the sound check once they hit that old kick drum. Yesterday's makeup, this morning's shame. She ain't real sure of his given
getting wild, but she doesn't really care, 'cause the good old boy is at the bar, and all he's done is stare, 'cause there must be something special in her lipstick and her hair, makes her stand out from the rest with all her soul out laying bare. Yesterday's makeup, this morning's shame, she real sure of his given name, and the sun came up several hours ago. Where he's been, everybody knows. Where she went, well, nobody knows. Yesterday's makeup, this morning's shame.
We played a funeral one time.
Interesting.
And
that's a tough gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more of like a celebration of
Right,
life kind of
sure.
thing.
Okay.
But, there's like, he loved your music. Would you guys come? And so,
Sure.
So we came. It was beautiful, beautiful ceremony. And they had cheeseburgers. And we took a break. And my dad he runs a real tight line. It's like he's like on time. And I am too. Like I really try to be like on time. And I don't try to like extend my breaks. It's like 15 minutes max. Right. I'm back on. And not everybody's like that.
Sure.
And my uncle decided it was a good time to get a cheeseburger. And meanwhile, our break is during like the eulogy.
Right.
So this poor guy's eulogizing his brother or whoever it was. And I think it was his brother. And then we were going to sing I'll Fly Away. So my dad's like, everybody get back. So we get back up. I start singing I'll Fly Away. And we use one microphone in the bluegrass band, so my uncle comes up to the microphone to sing harmony, and I look at him, and he's got a cheeseburger in his mouth. And like literally, he had shoved a whole cheeseburger in his mouth because he didn't have time to eat it, and it was like sticking out of his cheek.
Right.
And people are crying,
sure,
because it's sad, and I look over at him, and I just start laughing. And
right.
I'm like, oh my God. And so I get myself together. I look at my dad, who's like he looks like I'm going to kill you.
Right.
Like
he's having a meltdown inside right now.
And so I got myself back together, and then it was time for we call them in the bluegrass world, a break, a solo. And so someone was taking a break, and I thought, well, and I had to know, and I was like, surely it's gone. Surely he's finished. He's
swallowed it, right?
And I look over and it's still there, and I was like, oh no, and I was like, why did I look? But we kept it together, and like nobody knew. But we also had one time we had this juggler. We were at like an event, and they had all kinds of entertainment. And they had when you get a bluegrass band, it's like free and loose, and everybody wants to have a good time and whatever. So there was a juggler, and she just wasn't very good. I couldn't juggle one thing.
No, neither can I. I'm right there with you.
But I'm not dressed up as a juggler.
Right. If you're a juggler, you need to juggle.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's just part of the deal.
So this poor girl, I mean, I guess she was having fun, and that's all that matters. But she decided, we had noticed her while we were playing. And then she decided to come up and juggle in front of us as we're playing. And so my dad on the bass stands behind me, and I kick off a song on fiddle, and then I walk away from the mic, and he doesn't come up to sing. He's singing the song. He doesn't come up to sing, and I kick it off again, and he doesn't come up to sing. And I turn around, and he has his head buried in his bass like this. And he's going like this. And he's laughing, so he's crying. He has tears coming down his face, and he finally walks up to the mic, and he just goes, I can't.
That's hilarious.
So it's like those, and I thought, he won't be able to drive us home because if we bring it up in the car, he'll die because he's laughing so hard. So, oh my gosh. So those kind of things, just those funny little moments that happen.
Yeah, they're priceless.
They're distracting. We had one time we were playing, this was when we were playing, I was the only girl in the band, which is actually how I am in the Mayo family, but it was a different configuration, and there was a mechanical bull in front of us. And this cute girl in a short skirt got on the bull. Then everything's fine. Everybody's playing, and she falls off. the bowl, and every guy in the band stopped playing.
Right, everyone's like, miss?
And I was
Are
the
you
only
okay?
one.
Right.
Yeah. And
You said she's fine.
yeah. So it's just all those things that happen.
That's so funny. Yeah, speaking of like how, the lights on and being able to see people, I used to play this place in Hampstead right along Route 30. It was like it was an okay place on the left, but I played 2 gigs there, and it's like the drums, like I'm sitting here, and literally right here is a little bit of an elevation and a table, and a couple would sit, and I mean
they're looking down on you.
yeah, like they're literally,
Their feet are right there.
yeah, like I'm like, hey guys, and the entire night the guy's like.
Yep.
And he's just looking at me. The lights are bright as shit.
Right.
I'm sweating. I'm
You keep
freckling sweat
you
onto
keep
him.
side-eyeing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
that
a
would be
weird, you have to really not let those things get in
it's
your head.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny, like sometimes when I'm watching Making Waves, like sometimes I'll look up and Jim's like just kind of staring at me, but I know he's not like probably looking at me.
Right.
But that, like, do you focus on things sometimes where you just like get you're playing, but you're still in a zone? I mean, I guess you are with like the way you described the juggler and the cheeseburger, like you're just watching something, but not missing a beat. Just like, what am I doing? What is happening?
Yep.
Like, that's multitasking that I don't think I can handle or do.
Right.
When you play now, like with my solo stuff, which is honestly is fairly new, just since the release of Big Shot,
Which I love and we'll ask about, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that. It's phenomenal.
well, thanks. Yeah. But I have some of these songs. I've played them so much. We play all the time, and you do it over and over again, and so you can really kind of just play. But it's more fun when you're really like in the zone and you're really just clicking with the music. I mean, that's kind of the.
And if the crowd has good energy, it does. Like it, there are times where I'm like, I don't feel like it, but the crowd shows up, and I'm like, this is the greatest night of my life, or
yeah. Crowd energy is huge.
It really is.
And sometimes it's not there, and it's but like a lot of like private things, sometimes the crowd is, and the thing that I've learned about that is. I used to sort of be like, oh, but nobody's really listening. But my experience is that at the end, at least one person will come up to you and say, I really enjoyed what you did. I had such a good time. I'm so glad you were here. And that really, you have to, like, I keep in my mind, there's always somebody who's listening and having a good time and appreciates it. And that's worth it.
Right.
100%.
So, yeah.
It's like that great meme of like the rock band, playing and it's one guy and they're like, thank you, Bob. It's like one guy, but he loves it.
Yeah.
So just because of that.
Yeah. All you need is one. Yeah.
All you need is one.
Well, because a lot of times we play like gigs like that. Like it seems like the best paying gigs are the gigs that are just soul crushing. Like for some reason, like we play a party and God love them. I can't remember their names, but we played it for many years and we still would, but just scheduling is happening. But they paid us so great, but we would set up in a garage facing this way, and the party was out back at a pool.
Yeah.
So who were you facing?
We're facing the neighbors. We're facing nobody. And literally,
everybody was behind you, basically?
Everybody was behind the house, and there was a threat of rain all day. So we're playing out of a garage, and occasionally people would walk past the garage and go,
oh.
And I'm in there sweating my ass off.
They're like, can you play Wagon Wheel?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was one of the greatest pays we've ever gotten. And it's like, but to your point, at the end of the night, many of those people were like, you guys are great. They gave us $100 to play another 20 minutes.
Oh, nice.
We were like, okay, like, what, Yeah. But they were having a kegger in the pool, I guess, so.
I've played plenty of garages.
Yeah. It's a weird, but at least the people were probably in front of the garage, right?
Not always.
Okay, well, good. That makes me feel better.
Not always. I've played garages. I've played pig barns. I played a show one time.
That's the greatest statement. Paul's gonna love that.
I've
Paul
played
statement.
Pig Barn.
I've played
is
Pig Barn.
My favorite statement that's ever come out.
We played one time. This is when I was a teenager, and it was a little church show. And the people at these little churches are just so gracious, and they just really, really do listen.
Absolutely.
And but one guy came early and parked his lawnmower in front of the stage.
That's nice.
And just it's like chair, lawnmower, chair. And he
That's hilarious. They're like, Rick, get the deer out of the way real quick.
Yep. He had his drink and his lawnmower, and
that's good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So moving on to memories.
So I did memories. I wrote. I was in Chicago. And I was literally just sitting at the hotel bar, and I love to watch people. I mean, people give me a lot of inspiration.
Right.
And it's just, you get, when you sit and you watch someone, you have no idea who they are, but you can get like a little glimpse of their life, and then you build a story around it.
Sure.
And that's what a song is just a glimpse. It's just a tiny little sliver of time, and trying to have an impact with a story in 3 or 4 minutes.
Right.
So
That's a great way.
It's a great way to look at it. Yeah,
Never had
take
a song
that down.
described like
Did
that.
you write that? Write that. Take that down and copy.
Yeah, but that's what it is. I've said it before, but
Yeah,
that's what a song is. It's a tiny, tiny short story.
Right.
So I wrote memories because I was watching this couple, and they were just enthralled with each other, and clearly at some kind of work conference, and clearly not married to each other.
Right.
I mean, they both had wedding rings on,
Right.
and look, I've been married twice, and I
Right.
never looked at either one of my husbands the way they were looking at each other.
Right.
And they were just enthralled with each other and just down in the drinks. Of course, I was too, but I just was sitting there watching them. They had no idea, hopefully, and
That you were writing a
that
song about
and I'm
them.
just like.
Right.
You're like, I'm writing a song about you as we speak.
Right.
So I turned to my friend after they left, and they thought so it was funny. They acted like they were leaving. I don't know who they were acting for, but they acted like, oh yeah, I'm this way, that way, and then they went to the elevator together, and I was like, all right.
They're professionals.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so anyway,
It's risque.
and of course I turned my seat when they,
Right.
So, but so I said to my friend, I said, "Woo!" I said, "They're making memories to forget." This song's called Memories, and I wrote it. I was in a hotel bar in Chicago, and I was just sitting there at the bar, and I was watching this couple, and they were very much involved in what they were doing, and they were married, but they were not married to each other. And I said, "Woo! They were making some memories to forget." And so I flew home and wrote this song.
Turn your head across the room. My dress was black, your eyes were blue. You walked right up to me and said, you need another whiskey yet. I'm buying you another round. Don't even try to turn me down. You didn't waste a single breath. We're making memories to forget. Making memories to forget. What I can't remember, well, I can't regret. Another smile, another wink. Guess we ought to pour ourselves another drink. Oh, it makes it easy if you don't have to think. Well, I don't know just what to say. It doesn't matter anyway. The music's loud and so's the crowd. You won't recall it anyhow. We're stepping out across the floor. You're nodding toward that open door. I'd like to share your cigarette. We're making memories to forget. Making memories to forget. What I can't remember, well, I can't regret. Another smile, another wink. Guess we ought to pour ourselves another drink. Oh, it makes it easy if you don't have to think. I'm looking at an empty glass. I stumble out of bed too quick. My mind it spins, my head feels thick. I wonder how we got this far. How did we get here from the bar? Are you real and have we met? We made some memories to forget. Making memories to forget. What I can't remember, well, I can't regret. Another smile, another wink. Guess we ought to pour ourselves another drink. Oh, makes it easy. Oh, makes it easy if you don't have to think.
And then it's just making memories to forget. What I can't remember, well, I can't regret. And
Nice.
and then I wrote their story.
Yeah, the concept came just like
Yeah.
that.
I had some of the greatest people watching in my life this weekend. Sunday and Monday, we went to Great Wolf Lodge.
Oh, I bet. I've never been.
You did?
Yeah, that's where we were.
Oh, wow.
That's
It was
because I'm
like
afraid of staph infections, though. So
dude, my wife, like Sunday, my wife was just like, dude, can we just go? And the kids were like, well, we want to get on like the slides and stuff a little more. I'm like, all right, like, come on, like, let's just go do it. It's hot, it's chlorine-y.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though it's, massive. This place is massive. It's insane. There's more rooms than there should be. But the people watching is fantastic.
I bet.
Gotta be
Oh
fantastic.
my God. Just watching people just live their lives.
Is
Yeah.
it
So
mobbed
straight.
or was it?
No, it was packed. But it's Great Wolf Lodge. So there's a couple. There's like Camelback. There's Kalahari and the Poconos, and there's Great Wolf is like, it's more geared towards like littler kids. Although the water slides are huge, but these littler kids that are everywhere aren't getting on these big ass water slides. So there's no lines.
That's good.
Yeah, it's cool, and the water slides were definitely cool. They had a body slide that you go down without mats or
Did
tubes
you
or
do
anything.
it?
yeah, I was
Dude,
just
it was
gonna say.
no, it wasn't like straight down, but it was the fastest. Like I thought I was gonna do a
he
loop
did
at
it.
one
So he
point.
did
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, yes.
He's a nutbag. That's
the
all
No,
I know.
answer- Yes.
I did all of them. They have one of the drops where it drops the floor
Yeah.
in front of you.
Yeah.
You could probably do this place because it's
Listen.
indoors and the stairs are good, so you're not noticing that he's terrified.
Oh,
of heights.
terrified
He would
of
never
heights.
do it. Like do you remember
Those great
you
stories.
remember back in the day in Ocean City when they had that water slide that was just a straight shot?
So we went to Rehoboth.
Okay.
We were.
That's funny.
yeah.
You never traveled
My
down to
uncle
the
used to
inlet
go
No.
with the common folk?
I'm telling you, my very sheltered.
Right,
we
right,
did
right.
not step
You were a
out
very
of our-
Nah, that's
specific
all right.
tribe.
Yeah.
I do love
Right.
Rehoboth though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a water slide and it was tall. I mean, it was probably 5 or 6 stories.
It was
I would say.
huge. I don't know. It's not
No,
there
that. No,
because
it's
somebody
gone.
died.
But
or some
we
shit.
got him. We got
How dare
him.
they?
We got him up on it, and this is kind of when you really were like, you know what? I'm afraid of heights.
It was
And
vertigo.
He
Like,
had to lay down on the top with his hands pointing and legs pointing at the corners because he said the whole tower.
Talbot, this is what happens when you have terrifying vertigo.
Yeah.
I start getting drawn to the edge.
And then you're gonna land in water and drown.
It's a very strange sensation. So the only
We had to carry you
option
down.
at that point was
Yeah.
to lay like a pancake in an X. As women and children are going, what's wrong with that
We're
guy?
like,
And I'm going, just pass me, kids. It's all right.
You were saying that.
I'm going, just move on past. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
They're all like, but that's how I roll. Tom.
No, but
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
funny
yeah.
though. But yeah. My wife would agree with you. That's like the staph infection. You're just like, this is like I describe it as like we were just walking into bathwater. That's
Right.
kind of
with a bunch of strangers.
yeah. It's just indoors. There's no like some. But then everybody's trying to make me feel better. They're like, it's just bleach. Like, you know what you like wash dishes with where you bleach it? That's
Right.
what you're swimming in. I'm like,
You're like, but I don't
that's
know if
not
that's
better.
okay.
I'd rather than nothing be in the water, I guess, at that point. Like,
Right.
that's
I don't
crazy.
know if that's okay.
But I hate indoor pools because of the chlorine. Because
Yeah.
they have to
Right.
be. Because they had all these fans and they were just like real slow. I was like, they're not circulating any air. I'm
No.
telling Amanda, I'm like, babe,
No.
can you go talk to the front desk about the fans? And she's like, no, because I figured she would. She'd be like, look, you got to turn the fans on. That's just how she
Yeah,
is.
what are they, for looks or
Right,
something?
I'm like,
I mean,
you got to circulate
You're
the
like,
air,
I'm
man.
sweating in
Yeah.
a water park.
Right,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is offensive. I mean, what the hell is
I don't
that?
know. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't go back to an indoor water park, but I don't know. And my kids are older. They're 13 and 14, so
They're gonna
they
lose
had
interest.
a blast, but
It's probably the last time
They were like,
they'll
okay.
give a shit going with you.
well, no, I just go to an outdoor water park. Like I
Yeah.
don't need to go to an indoor water park in the winter. I'll just deal with the winter.
Right.
That's my point.
Take up skiing.
Great Wolf Lodge was okay, but we have some complaints.
Right.
But
Mostly the
it was
fans.
we had a
But
good
people watching is what led her to
Yes.
writing that song, which is why we start. Because I'm
Full
going,
circle
how
back
the
to the
hell did we
song."
get on Grey Wolf? I'm sitting over going, how the hell did we get on Grey Wolf Lodge? But
Well,
it's
maybe I should
because
go.
of
people
the
watch.
people.
Oh,
Yeah.
you could write some songs, but it's cool.
Is
I
it
mean,
expensive?
Yeah.
I figured.
I mean,
probably
Amanda
won't
got a
go.
deal. Like it was like a Christmas thing. We got the kids like,
Right,
let's go up
right.
here because we always try and do
probably worth
something in the winter. Yeah,
Right.
something cool because we
Right.
don't. We don't ski or snowboard or
Right.
anything.
Right.
Me neither.
Oh my
No
gosh.
shock there.
Yeah,
Didn't
but
grow
like
up skiing.
But we had a good time as the family.
Yeah, well, that's good
and we
shit.
went with our friends Holly and Brian and their kids, which we haven't seen in a while. So it was
there you
cool.
go.
It was fun. We had fun.
What about,
The last song.
yeah, that's what
The last
I was
song,
trying to think of the name of
Oh
it.
my dear, is that it?
Oh my dear.
Oh my dear, that's
Yeah.
the finger picking.
Right. So, Oh My Dear, I wrote that one. I started with the melody and I just was playing. I love minor chords, so I was just sort of playing around and I wrote the ooh, ooh, and I thought that sounds like it's very like haunting.
Yes, minor, haunting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then I paired it with major chords on the verse, and I just left the haunting ooze, and I didn't write lyrics for it because I just really liked the texture of it. I liked the transition between the notes without words, and it was sort of ghost-like to me. So I wrote the rest of the song, and I kind of made it, and you know, it is what it is to whoever is listening to it. So I don't want to, ruin it for anyone. But it is a murder ballad.
Oh, wow.
That's how I wrote it. And so it's really a call and response. So the major parts are sort of this male character, to me at least, this male character, and he's sort of in love with this woman, and then you go, but then he says, at the end of the major part of the verse where everything's like just G C D. And he says, all the stuff about how he loves her, and then it goes quickly to the minor chord, and it says, oh my dear, come, let's go. And that drops to the minor chord, and so it's showing sort of his darkness, and then we have the female haunting voice of the ghost, and then we go through the whole thing, and at the end he says, now you've gone. I'm going to do a song off of my last record. It's called Oh My Dear. Here, take my hand, for my heart is told. Your single days will go on no more. I'll keep you for
gone.
Wow. The old murder ballad.
Yeah.
Damn.
So those are big in bluegrass and Appalachian and folk music. And so I always wanted to write one, and I didn't intend to write it. It just sort of fell into my lap. But that's sort of my vision of it. I've heard people say it's a beautiful love song. And in a way it is. It is a love song. It's just that his love is psychotic.
Yeah.
But
that.
it's loosely kind of, I really liked, I'm kind of obsessed with like the 19th century. And there was a poet named Robert Browning who wrote a poem, and I'm going to butcher the name because I can't read. Porphyria's Lover. And it was about a guy who, like, his love comes in from a snowstorm, and he starts to kind of question where she's been, but she's so beautiful in that moment that to preserve his love for her and to not have to deal with her saying she was out doing something he didn't want her to do. She was so beautiful in that moment. He loved her so much, he strangles her with her hair.
It seems reasonable.
Yeah, totally reasonable. I mean, who hasn't done that? So anyway, so it's sort of like loosely based on that whole Robert Browning, that 18th or 19th century romantic poet kind of thing of like the psycho who kills his lover because he loves her so much and he has to possess her.
Wow, that
sounds like a Poe story.
Yeah,
it's same time period. Yeah, very similar.
That's wonderful. Yeah, you have depth. It's some deep shit. And it's good. Yeah, I love it.
No, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So let's move into the album. So you recorded that in Nashville. At the Smokestack.
The Smokestack.
That had to be a very cool experience.
Like the best experience of my life.
Yeah.
So I had gone to Nashville with the Monkton Road Band, and we recorded an EP called Hometown Poets, and that was at the Sound Emporium. And we worked with producer Matt Rawlings, who is like just a god. I mean, he just is incredible
in the producing world.
And as a musician, he's a piano player, and so all the piano you hear and organ is all Matt. And he's just incredible. So we were in Nashville recording Hometown Poets, and I was actually playing a fiddle part on that record, and I just wasn't nailing it. And I can be a bit of a perfectionist sometimes, and eventually I'll just sort of like, what it is. But I was really I really wanted to get it right, and I knew I could do it, and that's sort of what frustrated me. So I wasn't getting it quite right, and this was like day 3, and we'd already done two songs that I wrote, and we were all kind of like taking a little break, and Susie, my bandmate and mentor, said to me, she said, Tal, we gotta talk. And I thought, I'm fired. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. And she said, Matt wants to do a solo record for you. And I was like,
I'm here.
Me?
Not done.
Right, you said, remember I couldn't nail the part?
And I was feeling like I had a blast the whole time for that project, but I was really feeling it like my lowest, and I was kind of, and the imposter syndrome sets in, and you're like, oh my God, what am I even doing here?
The universe needed to deliver a win for you.
Right. So anyway, so Susie says that Matt wanted to produce a solo record for me. So once we finished up the Hometown Poets, like immediately thereafter, Matt, called me, and we started working on the concept for Big Shot, and it was unbelievable. I mean, the Smokestack was magical. It's a magical studio. I walked in and just immediately felt at home. Everybody was so sweet. The musicians on this record are just like the best in the world.
That's what I was going to ask you. So it's hired guns or that kind of vibe? Like, it's like you had studio players, you just met them.
Yep.
That's a wild.
Really?
Yeah, you just roll up.
They're professionals.
They're professionals.
You can hear that.
Yeah. So Matt Matt hired the musicians, and he got. I mean, I can't even. These musicians were the nicest people you ever meet in your life. I mean, just so gracious and amazing. Fred Eltringham on drums. I don't know if you know Fred.
Well, I don't know him, but the drums on the album sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, he's insane, and he was a huge part of like helping pick the studio and some of the other musicians, and they've all worked together before. But Fred is just, the nicest guy. He's been playing with Sheryl Crow for like 20 years.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, and he's just such a great guy.
I can picture him.
Yeah.
I know him from Modern Drummer and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's the best. And then Jimmy Lee Slowis on bass, who's played with everybody. And Chris Donegan on guitar, and Ganjo, which was funny. We were like, oh, let's put a banjo on, and we couldn't get a banjo player that was like able to come into the studio the day we needed him.
Right.
And we had leftover time, so it was kind of like, well, we should use the studio. So anyway, Chris played Ganjo, and just it was actually the perfect sound.
What is Ganjo?
So Ganjo is a guitar, but it's strung like a banjo. So it sounds like a banjo. It's got the same sound, but it's just guitar. It's just, you can play it like a guitar.
Interesting.
Keith Urban plays one.
Okay.
For reference. But
the old Ganjo.
Did you know that?
No. She's talking, and I'm like, it's got to be a guitar banjo.
Yeah, it's a guitar.
I figured it was that.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to picture if I've ever seen anybody play. I mean, Keith Urban.
Yeah, you've probably like a lot of times you'll see someone play a banjo. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of Taylor Swift. Nothing. It's not
right.
But I'm pretty sure when she plays, it's a Ganjo.
I got you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
They're pretty common, or it's not as wild as it sounds. We're just lamos.
Right.
But yeah, and then Janae Fleener, who is just not only just an absolute doll, but she's so talented. She's the fiddle player. She's like the only woman to win, Musician of the Year, and she won it like 5 times in a row.
Oh, wow.
She's amazing. And so let's see, we got Chris, we got Fred, Janae, Jimmy Lee, Matt on piano and keys, and just watching them.
And Matt's also the producer, right?
Yeah, and Susie West, she was the associate producer on that, and it just was absolutely a blast.
So, like from open to close, like they say, hey, let's do this album. Is that like a year, or like what's that process lengthwise? Like, what is that?
So we started picking songs in, I would say February. I sent Matt a file of not all, but probably all my best songs,
Right.
And it was probably, I don't know, it was maybe 25, 30 songs. And I just sent it to him, and I was like, this is when I said like my heart, I titled it like my heart in a Google Drive file, or like my soul in a Google Drive file. And I sent it to him, and he picked, we had to kind of narrow it down, and ultimately we got to the 5 we got to, but we actually, Oh My Dear got thrown in the week we were heading to Nashville. So it was a process, and I just deferred to him because he knows better than I do. Right. And so I deferred to him, and he just did a killer job picking songs. And so we went to the studio. It was mid-April. We got there. We had 4 days in the studio. We ended up doing all the tracking, my vocals, and we did everything live. But then I would do a tracking vocal, but then I would go do like a whatever they call it.
Punch-ins, overdubs.
Well, I do a tracking, and then I would go and I'd do like a vocal. Like I would do like the whole song.
Right.
And but sometimes.
A scratch track.
So the first one is the scratch track, and then you go in and you do your vocals. But actually, on Oh My Dear, we did it in one take, and most of the vocal are my tracking vocal.
Nice.
Yeah, it was just like a totally inspirational moment. And at the end of the song, we walk. So you kind of everybody's like quiet for a minute, and waiting for all the sound to stop, and then everybody just like took this breath, and it was incredible. And Matt just says, all right, everybody come in. And again, you're like, oh, was it really bad? you know?
Right.
So are we going to rethink the whole song?
Right.
And you go in and he's in tears and Susie's in tears
Nice.
and everybody's crying and he's like, we're not even going to do it again.
Nice.
Like we're just, that was it. And so I did some vocals over and then you add in, you know, this or that or whatever over top. But yeah. So
that's why you were ahead, because it's like if moments like that happen in the studio, it's so wonderful because, you know, you can get hung up and it's like if you get hung up, then the pressure gets on you, you start sweating it. And
it was cool. Yeah. I mean, besides being here and doing this, I got to go in and watch his band in the studio last week, which I've never done that. It was super cool watching that process.
It's so cool. It's such a great It's so fun.
Yeah, it's a weird thing if you've never experienced it, but that room must have been ice. Like if you hit it on the first, you know, like to have that kind of vibe is good.
Yeah,
you know you're in the
insane.
right place.
Oh yeah, it was just. I mean, it was magic. So then, so we did that, and then we didn't do background vocals. All the background vocals are overdubbed. I don't know if you know Buddy Miller, but he's like a folk icon. He has a show on Outlaw Country, and so he sang on some backup.
That's fun.
Yeah, just some like other great.
How'd you hook up with him? Just
all Matt.
Okay.
You know, all Matt Rawlings. He just, you know, he knows everybody.
Right.
And so backgrounds were added, and I think steel guitar was added, and just some other stuff, additional percussion and things. And then you have to have it, you know, it gets mixed, and so the engineer at the studio, he actually did the mixing, and he absolutely killed it. I mean, he made it such an easy process. He got it on the second take, and then it gets mastered. So by the time we were all done, we recorded in April, and we released in October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It just takes a while, man. How about that mastering? It's like I feel like every time things are being mastered, it takes so much longer than I ever figure. But it's a tedious. I
don't know if I fully know the difference between mixing and mastering, I guess.
Well, I don't. Other than
I mean,
audibly,
mixing is the same thing, and then you're mastering it.
Well, so mixing. So from what I understand in my limited knowledge,
Chris,
because I'm like not a tech person or this. I write the songs and
right. I'm a caveman. I play drums.
Right.
But from what I understand, so the mixing process is like kind of taking. You're in one area. You're kind of taking like the pieces and putting them together, but then you're also balancing out the sound. So like here, you know, you might throw this in the background and pull this out, and you know, the vocals might come out here, and everything else fade to the background. And again, this is probably like somebody's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, she's like, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
you're totally wrong." Yeah, Chris is like writing me an email right now, and it's like, "These are all the ways you got it wrong." But
he's like, "What is she talking about?"
Yeah, the idiot girl.
Your impression is getting better.
I know. I like it.
So, and then mastering like takes everything and puts all the songs at like the same volume.
Right.
It makes it standardized, so across streaming services, like everything
right.
is the same. But it can really be a nerve-wracking process because you might really like the way something sounds when it's mixed, and then it gets mastered, and you can kind of be like, "Ooh, that sounds different."
Yeah.
Part of the trick is not to listen to your songs over and over again.
Right.
So that's what I do. So when I edit this, I'm gonna listen to you all over and over again while I'm cutting the cameras.
Right.
And then I'll get through it and I'll play it like for my wife, and she'll be like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." I'm like, "Isn't it?" And then I send the video to Chris, and he masters it and then sends it back, and I'm like, "Okay, so listen to this," and I play it, and then I pause it, and then I go back, and I'm like, "Now listen to this." And it's like, holy shit! Like it's awesome,
But your ear will learn. Yeah. Your ear will learn something, and then it will like it just because it's familiar.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
and that's what happens. Yeah.
This, like you said last week, we just laid down 9 songs in 2 days, and we're going back in March.
Oh my God.
Dude, we were on fire.
Yeah, it was cool.
But we laid down 9 songs in 2 days, and we're going back for 2 days in March to do the vocals and stuff. But wait, what was my point?
I don't know. I was talking about master.
Yes, that's it, and that's like what you're saying. a couple years ago, we went into the studio and we did 4 tracks, and I listened to them constantly for like 2 weeks. And then they got mastered. We put lyrics on them, and they were totally different. And I'm like, I don't like it. Like, so this time when I got done the 9 songs, I sent him 2, and I'm like, I'm not giving you any more, and I'm not going to listen to it all week because because I did that last time, and I like them, and I just want to wait until it's a finished product,
right?
Because then I'll really like them, right? And as to your point, I won't be locked into what I thought it was for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like.
No,
totally.
I listen to these. I mean, everybody we have. I listen to it over and over again, but I love it. Like I love it. Like I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right.
It's incredible. So, I mean, I guess you don't have to answer this question, but I know this will be out afterwards. But you're going to Nashville for quite a while.
I'm leaving on Friday.
So, is that to record another album?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it'd be great if it was, but it's not. So I'm going to go and kind of just live in the scene. I've got some songwriting things lined up where I'll be playing some of my songs. Got a bunch of meetings, got a bunch of people to meet, and just going to go and immerse myself.
Right.
That's exciting and fun. I know a drummer down there, Cody Leppo. He plays with Jamie Johnson.
You know him or he's family?
No,
I was going to say,
not
like,
family.
where have I heard this name?
No, he's not family.
No.
But he was a couple years younger than us. He graduated from Westminster.
What?
I think he graduated from Westminster a couple years younger than us, and he went to Nashville a while ago as a drummer. And I mean, he's in it. Like, he's playing with this guy, Jamie Johnson.
Yeah,
I think
Jamie
his
Johnson's
name is
huge.
Yeah, and I mean, they've been touring for many, many years. But I'm throwing that out there. He's a really good guy, and he's a lifer, and so maybe I'll see if.
Yeah, totally.
Because any connections are good.
No, that's going to be a cool
I'll
trip.
meet with anyone.
Yeah.
That's
going to be a nice trip.
Yeah.
And so you're just going there to chill. Do you have a place, or are you just winging it, or?
I have. So I rented a place.
Nice.
You're just going there to be like, hey, I'm here.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, let's roll.
I'm here. And there were a couple people, when Big Shot was released, who said, "Hey, if you're coming back, I'd love to meet with you." So,
nice.
So I'm gonna go meet with people.
It's a great album. Like anything that anything that comes out of this trip is well deserved. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, and it's a smart play because you can't be in the game if you're not in the scene.
Yeah.
And that scene is hopping, especially recently. I mean, the past 5 years, it's always hopping in Nashville, but it's really come on.
Well, and country
like it's
music,
had a renaissance.
Yeah, it totally has. Country music and Americana music, folk music are huge right now. I mean, with Billy Strings and Sierra Farrell.
Yeah. I love Sierra Farrell.
Oh yeah, me too.
No, I haven't seen her. I saw Shaky Graves.
Oh, yeah.
But she wasn't there. It was Hot August. It was at a Hot August back when it was the Hot August Blues and Roots Festival. It's a funny story, actually, because he came out and played and for half an hour and then was just like, all right, thank you, and walked off the stage. And it was hot. Like, he was like, we found out he was like, thank God, and like walked off the stage. And like a minute later, he walks back on. He's like, apparently I have another half an hour. So. And he had to play another.
Oh my
he
God.
thought his set was 30 minutes.
The promoter shut him down.
Yeah, he was like, 30 more minutes, buddy. But no, Sierra Farrell was not at that show, but I would love to see her live.
Well, I've seen her like 5 times.
Really?
And honestly, that sounds like I'm crazy.
Not at all.
No, yeah.
I went by myself to see Brandy Carlisle at Merriweather because nobody wanted to go with me. I was like,
I would.
Bye.
Yeah.
Like, it was easy, though, because there was a single ticket like 3 rows back. And I was
God.
Yeah,
done, bought it.
That's a good ticket.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, well, Sierra is as good in person, if not better than she is
from
on her
Appalachia or West
She's
Virginia.
from West Virginia, yeah. But I've seen her a bunch of times. I saw her when she was not a nobody, but we go to this small festival in Maine every year called Ossipee Valley Music Festival, and just with a bunch of friends, and we all go. That's our vacation, right. And she played there in 2000, it's probably 2022. And she's just walking around and chilling with everybody, and
I mean, she's got a story to tell too.
Yeah, she sure does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so this music is really having a renaissance right now, as you said. And
yeah, it's a good move to be in the scene like that and just gig around the area, get meetings and stuff like that.
Just make friends. So
definitely.
Yep.
All right, are we good or?
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm a little nervous about this question because of I feel like you might be one of those cats that, I don't know, but do you like movies?
okay, yeah. No.
Okay, see, I had a feeling, when growing up in the farm. Now, what about TV?
Yeah, TV, yes.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, so a funny story about movies. So, if I get through a movie and at the end I know one person's name, like I've done really well.
Okay, all right. You're like my boss.
It's just a long time for me to stay engaged in something. And but we didn't watch movies when I was growing up.
Right.
And my brother and I were watching CMT when O Brother, Where Art Thou had come out.
Okay.
And we saw the music video.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we went running to my dad and we said, there is a guy on the TV and he's singing a song and it sounds just like Dan Tominski, who is the guy who sings.
Right, yeah, because it's not George Clooney.
Right.
Sure.
He tried to sing it, but...
We had no idea who George Clooney was.
Right.
Not a clue.
No, that's amazing.
That's hilarious.
It sounds
this actor sounds exactly...
That's
exactly
hilarious.
like Dan
amazing.
Tominski.
That says it all.
Yeah.
Of like where how you guys grew up.
Yeah, no,
that's
a wonderful story.
Yeah, right.
Actually,
That's
that's the best story we could have had on Sanity Cinema here.
Because I had a feeling, because I've met people like you. It's fine.
Well, we had just had Julie from Sweet Lita in here.
Right.
It was like, I think maybe I've seen 3 movies.
Yeah, listen, I've never met anybody like Julie from Sweet Lita. I mean, she takes it home with her. She doesn't watch because she can't emotionally handle it.
Yeah.
Like, she puts herself in the situation. It's a great
situation.
Watch that episode.
Yeah,
it's
a good one.
It's
She's
wonderful.
an empath.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. I actually, because I'm just like, well, they're just acting.
Right. You said this is bullshit.
And and my husband's best friend said to me one night, he's like, I got like way too high, and I tried to watch a movie, and I was like, they're just all acting.
That's so
and he was
funny.
like, I was like, Talbot, but
but they're good
all
actors.
the time. Yeah, no, and I have nothing against movies.
No,
Sure,
my
sure.
husband loves movies,
Right.
and he watches them, and I'm like, this is great. My favorite movie is whatever you're watching because I'm going to go do something else.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I know very practical people like that. My brother-in-law, Timmy's he likes movies, but he's very this ain't real. They're acting. He's just very practical.
That was how Greg was. Greg Marshall was like, he didn't like anything, but he liked war movies.
Yeah.
Because they're real. But he, like any Star Wars, any of that, he's like, dude, it's not real.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's really hard for me to connect to anything that's like, because I have no imagination.
The guy that I work with.
well, that's not true.
Yeah, you have you tell stories for fuck's sake. Your movies are your songs.
Right.
I mean, come on here.
Yeah.
My boss, Al, he's not even my boss anymore. He was my boss, but Alan at work is kind of like that. Like, I'm like, Alan, have you ever seen Rocky? And he's like, is that the guy that runs up those stairs? And I'm like, yeah, it's the guy that ran up the stairs.
Right.
That's what Rocky
at least
is.
he's got a significant moment in the movie.
I've never seen Rocky.
So, okay, well then what about TV?
I do like TV.
Okay, so give me your top 3 shows of all times, like that give Talbot Mayo emotional credence, or it strikes your
like my
chords.
comfort shows.
Yeah.
King of the Hill.
Oh, nice. Okay.
King of the Hill. The Office.
Okay.
The Office I've watched. Oh yeah, my son goes through that. That's
now let me ask you this: you're not like you don't go hard, like you haven't seen every episode of The Office. It's not like that.
I have seen every episode.
So, okay.
So have you seen the Superfan episodes?
I don't know.
So I just recently discovered these. I think it's on Netflix or one of the streaming services it's on. Like I started watching these, and all of a sudden I'd be watching the show. Just a random episode, and I'd be like, "Man, have I not seen this episode?" So then I back out, and they're superfan episodes.
Right.
There's like 10 of them.
I didn't know that.
And they're extended. They're like 45 minutes long and have all this
shit.
Yeah,
See,
it's added foot. It's wild.
I have this thing though, because I have all these strange hang-ups. And to me, it's like, well, was that in the episode or was it not?
Right.
Right. So
You know what I mean? I'm like,
So you're saying it was
well,
cut for a reason?
Well,
or like if it's not in the episode,
Dude, it wasn't, but I don't know. Go find these superfan episodes. It's like watching it's like watching it for the first time.
I would love it. Yeah,
Yeah, I would totally.
Like, I don't know what the deal was. If they planned this, like, I don't think they were like cut, like, because they're funny and
Yeah,
they
but it's
flow.
probably a time thing.
It's
you
a time
can't.
thing.
Yeah.
They're a 22-minute episode, or right, or something like that. So it's like they
But
probably.
so right. I guess it's like
There's
30,
no
it's like
way
it's a
they
solid
could've-
30-minute episode with
the
without
commercial.
commercials and stuff.
Right.
Right,
So.
right. So it probably
they're
just
good,
is
but
that.
they're like iconic episodes. They're not just random though. I think they're
so
like
maybe they
good
named
episodes.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Right.
There's only, I mean, out of 140 or so episodes, I guess over 9 seasons,
Right.
it's like 10 superfan episodes. So they're good episodes.
that's amazing.
All
But
right, so
find them and watch them.
show
They're funny.
number 3.
Show number 3. Gosh, it's tough. One of the shows that I like to watch TV in the winter, and I of course I
If
like.
you say Mork and Mindy, I'm going to shit. No, go
No,
ahead.
it's not Mork and Mindy. Man, there's this great show that was on for a while called Community.
Oh yeah, Joel McHale.
Yeah, I mean that's a great one. I love to watch that one in the winter. Like we'll rewatch
Wait a
that one.
minute. Joel McHale is the reason you're called Gravedigger's Biscuits.
Yes, Joel, if you're out there, baby, I know that you come to Baltimore occasionally. He might even have Baltimore roots.
they
I
got
think I
that.
read that he did.
Yeah,
They got their band name from Community.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for whatever reason, my cousin watched the Community one night, and Joel McHale says at one point, he goes, "Gravedigger's Biscuits," and it's
That's so good.
and it's like
That's great.
but it's not even real. It's like, but he says it's English for like coffee or tea and donuts in the morning or something like that.
Right.
But if you look into it, that's like not
true.
It's an urban legend or
Right.
something that maybe even that started.
Yeah.
Either way, my cousin wanted to name it. I love
Yeah.
it.
That's
and we're
great.
getting old. Like we're all old and grave diggers. It sounds, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good.
Yeah,
that's
it's a
a
good
good-
show.
yeah.
Yeah. I also love, I'm a true crime. I love true crime.
So you go CSI, or do you do Criminal Minds, or do you do
I
true
loved-
crime like documentary?
Yes,
type?
documentaries
Yeah.
for sure. But I also was a big fan of Bones back in the
Oh
day.
shit! Right, I remember Bones.
Yeah, that was a fun
That was a
one.
good show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, she was like totally kick ass.
I
Right.
forgot about Bones.
Yeah.
How many seasons? That went a little
That
bit.
went on a long time, and the from what I remember, the later ones weren't very good, but the early ones were good.
Yeah, I didn't buy any.
Isn't Bones? That's
all
got
of them.
isn't that the dude from Nightbreed? In that, isn't he the star of Bones?
I don't know.
The same actor or no?
I don't think it's Craig Sheffer. Is that?
Yeah,
it?
isn't
I
that
don't
him?
think so.
No, it was the guy
No.
from. He was
He
in.
looks like him.
Right.
It
was-
looks like Sheffer, but
He
it's
was in
not him.
another series that was
Yeah,
big
yeah,
that I never
yeah.
watched.
Hold on,
Was
I
it
gotta figure
Buffy
it
or
out.
something?
Oh yeah, I think he was in Buffy, right?
David. Hold on, David Baranos.
David
Yeah, that
Baranos
sounds right.
Yeah.
is the Bones guy.
Yeah.
And that's who we're talking about.
Yeah, but who was the dude in Nightbreed?
Oh, that's Craig Sheffer.
Oh, so they're
So
not the
it's
same
not-
person. You
Yeah, but
figured
it doesn't look
Or maybe
like
they
him.
are.
Oh,
I'm looking at him. He does look like dude from Nightbreed.
And now we
the
go on to our
program.
conspiracy.
yes, he definitely
theories.
does. Like I thought he'd just gotten older. 'cause
Yeah, no,
Nightbreed's-
yeah, he looks
Nightbreed's
like
like
it.
early 80s, right?
80. Nightbreed is 90
Yeah.
on the nose. So, I mean, what about Walk the Line? The coal miner's daughter?
I
None
do
of
love
those.
Coal Miner's
Yeah.
Daughter.
Okay.
So I've seen Coal Miner's Daughter. Sissy Spacek is
Right.
fantastic.
Okay. All right.
Anything with Loretta Lynn I've seen.
All right, I dig that. That's what I was
Big-
going to say. What
big
about
fan.
Working 9 to 5?
Never seen it.
No? How did I do?
How about
You did great.
Clint Eastwood Honky Tonk Man? How about that
No,
one? That's a
never
good
seen
Oh,
one.
look at you.
That's a good one.
That's a good country
That's a sad,
flavor.
sad
Oh, my
movie.
gosh, it's devastating.
It is.
And his real son is in there.
Yeah,
I think it's him and his
Sandra,
real son.
Sandra Locke. They
Your
were married
Sandra
when
Locke.
he did that movie. I
Yeah,
think.
I believe you're right.
That's a good one. Honky
Yeah,
Tonk
well,
Man.
Well, again, it's fine. We just I had a feeling that you were going to be one of
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is one of the tops.
That story is phenomenal.
That's in my top 10. Yeah. That's a great movie.
That's a great movie. Now, but you never even watched it, right? You just saw that video.
I watched it later as an adult. Yeah, but we hadn't seen it. We didn't know anything about it. We were huge Alison Krauss Union Station fans. I mean, she's like my...
She's royalty in Bluegrassville or that kind of royalty. Music. Yeah, like in general.
I'll tell you, like the highlight of my musical career, and I can die now, is we were in the car. We were in Nashville, and so when we did Big Shot, Matt, Susie, and I all lived in the same house for a couple days, which, like, getting to stay in a house with Matt and just, like, over dinner, you're talking about songs and what's next and the industry. And it was an unbelievable experience. And so we're riding to the studio in the rental car, and I'm driving. And Matt had said the day before about, like, the Oh My Dear. He's like, I really could hear Allison singing on this. And I was like, don't even.
You said don't.
Like, he sent it to her.
Oh, shit.
And she listened to it.
Oh, really? Shit.
He sent it to her, and she listened to it. And he told me that while I was driving. And he's like, anyway, I have a confession to make. And I'm like, and driving in Nashville is not easy. Let me tell you, like, it's intense. And so I'm driving, and he's like, oh, I got a confession to make. I've been talking with Allison, texting back with her. And, I sent her, Oh My Dear. And I'm like, what? And I just start shaking. And he's like, I said, well, does she like it? And he's like, yeah, she loved it. And I was like,
don't fucking lie to me.
I know. And I was like, my arms don't work now. I'm trying to drive the car. And
that's great.
That was insane. That
was that's why you got to go back, because you're 2 steps from, the right place at the right time.
Oh, I hope so. We'll see.
So,
if not, stuff. Home's pretty nice too.
Oh, yeah.
I got a similar moment. It's not even similar. I take that back. Like, Alison Krauss liking your song is much different than what I'm about to tell you.
No, but I know what you're about to say.
I'm a massive Grace Potter fan.
Okay.
I love Grace Potter, and I posted a reel I built like this album wall.
Saw that.
She liked it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like I woke up in the morning, I'm like, babe!
And you're like
I circled it, I put it on, I was like, dude. And then I threw the, like, Grace Potter's a bucket list guest.
I mean, I feel like that has to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no way.
She hasn't liked that comment yet.
Yeah, but she might. I mean,
oh my God, I've seen her a lot. She's wonderful live. Right. Like, she's a performer. Like, like, she's awesome.
Well, that's good stuff. So do you have any items?
Yeah, like, tell everybody where they can find you. Yeah. We have, which you probably know now, we have our event calendar, What's Happening Baltimore. So that's where we'll be able to find you. I already added all your gigs because you sent them to me.
Nice.
So
great.
There's a lot of events of yours on our calendar. So go to what'shappeningbaltimore.com, subscribe to it, most importantly, and check out Talbot Mayo. But where can everybody find you besides that location? So
you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I have a website, talbotmayomusic.com, and I post my stuff there. I play in a lot of configurations, so I play with the Mayo Family Band still. I play with other friends. My friend John Zorn and Luke Jahani and I will do a bluegrass trio from time to time. And then I am playing as a solo artist, so I've got my own band together. Which is right now my dad on bass, although he keeps telling me I should fire him.
Right.
And but he works for free, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've got Dave Rich on drums, who I love Dave. He's just like a good friend and like an older brother. And Luke Jahani on guitar has been playing too, and Luke adds a ton. Nice. And so I've got all these different things going, and so you can follow me everywhere.
Awesome. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention how we met as Britain,
right?
And
from
Whiskey Feathers.
Whiskey Feathers.
So you guys, you play with them, and you play at Manor Mill, the new Manor Mill. You play there a good bit.
Yeah. So I just did a show at Manor Mill, and Britain and John Zorn and I did a show together there before the Monkton Music Festival last year. and love playing with those guys.
Yeah.
We actually, the three of us wrote a song together,
Right.
which you can stream. It's called "Hit by the Moon."
Oh, nice.
And so we wrote that on my front porch one summer night, and
Right.
we recorded it.
So he said he used to be your neighbor. So does that mean he lived by the farm?
Yeah, he was
Nice.
pretty close.
Is that when he
pretty
was
close.
taking care of the cemetery?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
such
Yeah.
a Britain
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yep,
That's
that was back when he was doing that. And,
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this has been great. Like it's
Well, thanks.
it's
Thanks.
wonderful.
Yeah, I'm glad to finally
So
make
the
it
one,
happen. The songs were gorgeous.
I will talk about one thing. So
Go ahead.
like where I was going to get to, I'll just talk about this. I quit my day job today.
Yes.
Hot take,
So,
right?
I mean,
forgot.
I'm giving them. It's a little bit of time, but the whole purpose is to just focus on doing this podcast. So you're going to see a lot more of us around, which it means you're going to see a lot more of Talbot around, and Whiskey Feathers around, and Enslow, and everybody we possibly can get out there.
And we're
gonna
trying
be
to take-
out around the town.
We're trying to take
Awesome.
Baltimore by storm. We got the New
We
Haven
are.
music series that is coming soon.
The New
It's
Haven Music
almost-
Series is coming to Guilford Hall Brewery.
Yeah,
so
downtown. So,
It's a 400 capacity venue. There's
Wow.
a bar, an elevator,
That's awesome.
bathrooms. It's the second floor of Guilford Hall Brewery. Yeah, so we're going to be. booking
so we're
bands
trying
there.
to book bands there. We're going to have a music series there.
I have a band.
Yes,
I know that.
you have several.
And right, you've got a whole line, a whole run. And then we've got a street team, as it were, that is going to start writing articles
Mm-hmm.
that support some of our shows and go out to the Baltimore and report, just
Yeah, it's
good
called the
articles
Daily
about.
Candy. So subscribe. Go to the dailycandy.com and hit subscribe to that, and they put out newsletters every Wednesday, I believe, maybe even a little more often than that. But we're kind of collaborating on just spreading the word and bringing people into our world, which is bringing
Yeah.
people into your world,
That's
and that
amazing.
is the goal.
And trying to bring back good vibes to Baltimore. Not that it's totally gone, but everybody, it's there's no reason why this place, like the artists around here are incredible.
We want
and no one
Baltimore-
knows.
We want the music. We want
It's
we want everyone to be talking about the musical renaissance that's happening
Absolutely.
in Baltimore
Right,
because
right.
there's so much talent.
And,
And
a
the
lot of
art's
history.
insane.
There's
And
a lot of history here
Oh my
of
gosh.
music. I mean,
Yeah.
Dumb Curry played in Baltimore for years, and the Seldom Scene came out of this area. But
Frank Zappa was
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, that was same time.
apparently
man.
Joel
Same
McHale.
Yeah,
Joel
right
McHale.
there, Joel McHale, Joel baby, let's do this. Don't
But that's the whole point. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of musicians from Baltimore that you don't even know are from Baltimore
Yep.
just because
Animal
they're out.
Collective.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God, yeah. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, well, this was great. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
well, I appreciate you. I really appreciate the opportunity and what you guys are doing
Yeah.
for Baltimore and for music. And
Well, thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, stay sane, Baltimore.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening, Baltimore. You can find us at www.sanitylounge.com or on Instagram at sanity.lounge.
Keep listening and subscribe.
Stay sane, Baltimore.